Used to be when you were raising livestock and you went to hire somebody, you knew if you hired a farm kid, that kid probably knew how to work hard, probably knew how to back up a trailer, run something with a clutch. These companies today, we've run through all of that. So now we get these interns out of college that's never seen a live animal. We get them into positions where they're making decisions like you just talked about, and they have no frame of reference what it's like to be on that end of it. It's a struggle.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Here we go again with another episode of How to Farm with your actual host, Cole the Cornstar. Again, we are going with him along on this ride as he shows us what it takes to actually put in a field, to put in a crop, and the issues that they face, and it includes, of all things, the money. This is something that farmers just don't talk about, partially because it's really an ugly scenario. So why don't we hop on ahead? If I have anything that I'd like to add or otherwise, I will certainly pause and get to doing exactly that. So with no further ado, let's take off.
Welcome to the How to Farm series. My name is Cole the Cornstar. I am a 26-year-old farmer who farms 2,000 acres of corn and soybeans. Over the next 365 days, I will be documenting everything that happens on Cornstar farms in an effort to show what it takes to feed the world. If you wish to start the series from the beginning, watch my How to Farm playlist. In the last episode, after establishing a $523,000 projected end-of-year farm loss, we got started with preparing our fields for planting soybeans. My brother got started on tillage, Roman fixed our well, I GPS mapped fields, we got our sprayer trailer ready, we discovered our water tank was full of algae, and Dad loaded his seed tender trailer with seed. At the start of today, our yearly farm expenses so far are $916,980, and we have not made any income yet. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of this series. Thank you for tuning in for the day. So let's get started. Welcome to day number 3 of the farm season. We have an incredibly busy day today because today is the day we are going to get the sprayers out running in the field and get started spraying. And once we get done spraying our first field, we will be pulling in with Dad's 16-row planter right behind the sprayer. And we are going to get started planting soybeans. Looking at the forecast for today, they're talking a high of 78 degrees. It's going to be an absolute beautiful day and a low of 37. We have some winds coming in at noon. Once the winds get over 12 miles per hour, it is going to be too windy for us to spray. They're talking gusts of up to 30 at noon. So we got some serious running around we need to do this morning to be able to make sure we have everything ready so that way we can get out in the field and get what we need to get sprayed before that wind comes. We have 100 acres that is completely ready. By the time I get that 100 acres done, there should be another 70 acres right here around the house. We should be able to get that sprayed too before the wind comes. So that is the goal. But we have a lot we need to get set up before we can do that. Looking at the 10-day forecast, tomorrow, they're talking no wind, high of 79. Monday, they're talking a high of 79, no wind. Tuesday, 70% chance of rain, 69 degrees is a high. Wednesday, windy, 67. Thursday, 53 degrees, low of 40. We're good on temperatures. Going into Friday, we got wind, low of 34, high of 47. Saturday, low of 29. We have to keep an eye on that. Same with Sunday, low of 32. If we have crop up out of the ground when we have those low temperatures like that, we could get some frost damage, which would damage our soybeans that we're planting, which we don't want. But looking at these temperatures, I don't think we're gonna have anything out of the ground by then, so we should be okay. But we have to look out for that rain, we have to look out for that wind, because if it's too wet, we can't go out in the field. If it's too windy, we can't spray. So we're gonna try to make hay while the sun shines this morning, and we don't have any wind. So here we go, day number 3. Cooper's working, Zach's working, Dad's working, I'm working. There's 4 of us. We're actually gonna have a 5th person helping today too, not out in the fields, but with the sprayer. Jordan, our Haggy mechanic, is coming down and he is going to be working on this sprayer, which is sprayer we call sprayer number 1. I believe he's got 2 days worth of work he's got to do on that. See, and he's also got to do some work on this one, but I'm going to be robbing this one this morning while I go off and spray. So we need to get some water in this. We have not put any water in it yet for the year, so we're going to fill that up with a little bit. We're going to go run it out in the field, make sure everything's working. We have our semi-trailer over to the side. We got water in it last night. We need to make sure all our pumps and stuff are going to pump right on that as well. So we have a little bit of priming, cleaning, making sure things are flowing here before we actually get out in the field. So this is probably going to take us about an hour. And then I'm hoping we can get some product in the sprayer and we can go out and spray. So here we go. Before we get started, we always check our fluids. Check the oil. We're going to put some engine oil in this. We have a nice simple drive over to Everest. Sounds like there's a metal plate above my head that's just jostling. Never had that happen before. Welcome to Everest. Let's unfold and get going here. We're running 15 gallons an acre on the ground right now too. So an acre is about the size of a football field. So imagine 15 gallons of milk being spread evenly over an entire football field. Well, we got the first part of the field all outlined up, so we are now ready to go back and forth on the long row stuff. It is noon. The wind is supposed to be starting to pick up now, but I think it's still acceptable for us to go. We're still right on that borderline level. If we get Everest done, then Dad will be able to plant the entire thing completely, and then I'm probably gonna have to run the rest off here around the house. And then Dad also needs my monitor to run in the planter, but he can't get the seed tender out right now because they're taking the fuel tank out of the other sprayer in front of the shop, and he had his seed tender inside the door, and the telehandler is currently in the way holding up that fuel tank. We got our load full now. We got another 65 acres on us. I have 65 acres done. We need about 32 more over on Everest. Then we'll jump around the house here and just a nice long row stuff. I can kind of go to the bottom of the valley. I'm hoping I can duck out of the wind a little bit there to get us ran off empty. Then we'll pop the monitor out. We'll get that in Dad's tractor and hopefully get the soybean planter rolling here in just a minute. Cooper is running around the house right now with the real disc, and he's doing some tillage. And Zach is down at Mary Lou's running our high-speed disc. So we got all hands on deck today. We've learned when you start planting, you go to the back of the field where nobody can see anything, because if you're gonna have a problem, it's almost always right when you're starting. So we are over the hill where literally nobody can see what we are doing. I got the filter put back on the sprayer. Jordan said this sprayer is ready to rock and roll. That sprayer's got a little bit of work that needs to be done on it, so we'll leave that one sit for now, and I guess we'll start using this one tomorrow. So here's what we got going on the Massey 4880. Between the engine and the transmission, you have the flywheel and the bell housing. It connects the engine to the transmission. There's a little shaft that runs right between the engine and the transmission. It's what transfers the power from the engine into the transmission and actually makes the wheels spin. So that shaft between there, well, there is a seal that keeps the oil inside of, I don't really know how it all works in there, to be completely honest. So Cooper pulled everything apart in there, took the shaft out, and he took the flywheel off, which is a big circular piece of metal that on this particular tractor weighs like 100 pounds. And he's got that seal exposed, so Scott, our neighbor who's a mechanic, he's gonna get in contact with Cooper tomorrow, or he's gonna come down here. I'm not really sure. Either way, we're gonna use Scott as a reference. He's gonna tell us if we need to take the rest of the bell housing off in order to get to that seal or not. But that seal needs to be replaced because that is what is leaking all of the oil. We're coming up on hour 15 for the day. It is 10:40 p.m. Saturday, April 13th. Zach got started before me. Cooper got started before me. Dad got started before me. So they've all had longer days than I have. And so between the four of us, we'll just call it a 16-hour average between. So that is 64 man hours for the day, $1,280 worth of expenses. We had zero income today, and all the diesel fuel and stuff that we spent, we'll rally that up at the end of the month when we get our fuel bill and actually fill our tanks back up, because it's impossible for me to calculate that right now. But we spent $1,280 today.
so as you can see, already issues arising. That's not going to be an inexpensive fix. You don't break apart a motor like that, especially when you need it. So again, let's not forget our farmers. Let's not forget the people who are putting food on our table. Let's not the people who are putting product out there so it can be changed into other things, right? We forget about them. They're going broke. Why are they going broke? Lots of reasons. Maybe you should look into them. Learn to appreciate where we get all of the small things, semi-truck drivers, delivery drivers, all those things. That's what this is about. This is about the real nuts and bolts of our country. All right, everybody. I will talk to you later, and we'll see you on the next trip.